if we consider the digitization of the dollar off for a while, let's talk about something we know is happening. And that is the rise of the yuan, which is the Chinese currency renminbi, basically moving to a digital currency. Like we said, China announced, I believe, around July, August, and the UK announced around right around the end of September, beginning of October of last year, that they were both moving to digital currency. And so what you can see is that China, this is an article from the South China Morning Post dated February the 6th. And you can see here that the article is about the fact that having a digital Chinese currency will give the dollar a run for its dominance. We need to understand in America the petrodollar hegemony. In other words, when the dollar became the world's reserve currency, because we in 1944 had the biggest gold reserve in the world, still do to this day, and the gold was viewed as God's money, as something that was usable and always had intrinsic value. So we pegged initially the value of a dollar to gold. We were on the gold standard for the longest time until we finally came out completely in 71 under Nixon. And so what happened was we had the most amount of gold. Everyone wanted to have their currency tied to gold. This is when we were on the gold standard. When we came off the gold standard, the dollar was the most closely associated with the value of gold because of the reserves we had. And therefore, basically, instead of trading everything against gold, everything started trading against the dollar. The dollar was the denominated world reserve currency. This naturally led to petrodollar hegemony. So OPEC, and specifically Saudi Arabia, which really runs OPEC, and as well as Aramco, which is the Saudi Arabian petro company, they all agree to sell their OPEC oil in dollars. And this really put dollars squarely in the face of every country that wanted to buy oil from OPEC. You got to buy it in US dollars. So a lot of countries came to us to buy our dollars, and we sell a lot of our dollars. I wish I had a slide for you here that showed you how much of our actual currency that we spend on a yearly basis do we actually collect in taxes. But since I don't have it as a slide for you, I will just go ahead and tell you that if you go to usdebtclock.org, this will give you immediate real-time results that we love. Of course, now we see the debt over 30 trillion. But I want you to see that the actual US federal spending is over $7 trillion. And you can see that our actual tax collection was 4 trillion. So that gives us about 3 trillion. That is a little over $3 trillion. That is, in fact, a total budget deficit. That's just what it is. It is, a budget problem. And so when we look at all these things and we see that this is sort of where we're at, we have to start to wonder, well, what does this mean for the dollar? If China is going to give us a run for our money, what does that mean? If we don't have to buy OPEC oil anymore, and we don't, we've had a trickling effect of a few years now of more and more and more countries bilaterally trading directly. BRICS is an incomplete example of that I brought up here on this podcast before. So that's Brazil, India, China, and South America, South Africa, actually, I think. I always forget the S. And Russia. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and I believe South America, but I could be South Africa. I can remember the S. The point is that the BRICS situation is absolutely one where we are handling trades not inside of US petrodollar. And that's an example of where our dollar doesn't need to be bought in that case. And if a dollar doesn't need to be bought, then we don't sell it. And if we don't sell that dollar, and if we don't sell 3 trillion of those dollars on an annual basis, we don't have the lifestyle spending that we have. Because what does that say? When we spend 7 trillion and we've only collected 4, that means 3 trillion that we've spent, we've borrowed in the form of securities that other countries have bought because they are in US dollars. These are liabilities to us that we won't have. So I guess what I'm trying to say to you is if you understand that the end of currency and the end of dollar hegemony, the rise of alternative currencies that can be digitized and scaled. We never worried about the Chinese currency before because it was never big enough to accommodate anywhere near the amount of transactions that we have in the United States alone. But going digitized means it's completely scalable, and they will be able to. And then you can see this article right here in the South China Morning Post talking about challenging the dominance of the US dollar.